Yeah.
Yes, they're muted. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody can hear me in the house and online. Having passed the bylaw some time ago, if a year or two or three ago, I can't remember the virtual meetings. We had 3 councillors joining us virtually tonight. We have all 7 councillors here, 3 on screen and 4 in the room. We can see your name tags and if we look up, we see you on the screen. So off we go. It's 5:30. I will call the regular council meeting of Wednesday, January the 21st in order and ask if there are any amendments to the agenda.
Through Mayor Lawrence, I do have 2 amendments to the agenda. Item 7.8, this is with respect to the traffic control bylaw. The date, I'd like to change the date from February 4th to February 20th. And the other item would be the deletion of item number 14. We will not need to go into closed session this evening.
Very good, thank you. Now I'll ask for a motion that the agenda for the regular council meeting of January 21st be approved as amended. Moved by Councillor Angelino, seconded by Councillor Timpson. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest.
Through Mayor Lawrence, I have them.
We have some minutes to adopt. The minutes of the December 2nd, 2025 special council meeting and December 17th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Angelino. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And a motion that the minutes of the December 4th, 2025 Environment Committee meeting be received. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Lego. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Determination of items requiring separate discussion. 7.1, Truth and Reconciliation Committee Work Plan and Budget. Seven point two, Fire Engine Docking System, lease to own proposals. And I will lift that one. 7.3, Recreation Leisure Community Events in Hudson. We will lift that one. Boat launch recap. Lego. 2026 estimates budget for the Sioux OPP Detachment Board. Councillor Costco. 7.6, resolutions to be submitted. I think we need to lift that to make decisions. And municipal assumption of Evergreen Cemetery in Hudson. Councillor Costco. Bylaw, new traffic and parking control bylaw. Custody. And Ontario Regulation 284-09 Compliance Report 2026. So we have lifted 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, and 7.8. So adoption of items not requiring separate discussion, item 7.1 and item 7.9. Councillor Dago, seconded by Councillor Costco. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. First item on the agenda, then it's 7.2, Fire Engine Docking System lease to own proposals and request for council direction. So, council, just a few introductory comments here. We directed staff to, we made the decision to dispose of the underutilized finger docks and directed staff to prepare a proposal call to see what the interest was. And we've received two very, very good bids from two very good and solid local businesses. And they were sourced through a fair system and a fair call for proposals, which meant an evaluation of a scoring evaluation of various criteria that needed to be evaluated, and a price to purchase. The price to purchase was was suggested by us, but we get for the value of the docks, but that was factored into the lease to own proposals that were received. Having done that, I'm just going to give my advice to council is that I feel we're now in a position where we should be awarding this to treating it as a tender is being gone through a fair process, and it makes it very awkward not to, and opens to litigation, in my opinion, if we don't award it to, in this case, the highest score. If it was just a price only, it would be the lowest bid. If they're qualified bids, and these are both qualified proposals. So as we start the discussion, it's my advice that we're not discussing the merits of the proposals. They're are highly merited and qualified, and went through a fair process, and one came out 2% higher. And if we don't award that, I think we're open to litigation. My view. CIO, any comments?
Through Mayor Lawrence, thank you. Yes, your comments are certainly valid and in line with our normal procurement practices.
And I thank both proponents for doing it. And honestly, it's hard to favor one or the other, but to me, it was that's this is council discussion. Or shall I just put it on the table as we do a normal contract where because of the value of this, it's over the $75,000 limit. Staff must bring it to council and for award of the contract, the project, the lease. So if council is good with that, then I won't just. I'd say for the direction, my proposal would be a motion that directs staff to work through the lease to own contract with the successful proponent. Council, any comments? No comments? I think that's fair, and I want to thank both proponents. Good system, and the direction staff's on the table as a motion. Is there a mover? Councilor Dago, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Recreation, leisure, and community events in Hudson, exploring a new way forward. The council is expecting recreation, leisure, and community events in and for the community of Hudson direct staff to pause any plans to apply for funding to renovate the Hudson Fire Hall to provide for a community recreation leisure space. Pause any plans to demolish the Lost Lake Drop-In Center and the Hudson Hall until such time as council directs otherwise, and following the implementation of the additional direction in this resolution. Consult with the residents of Hudson on the establishment of a municipal services board, a Hudson Recreation, Leisure, and Community Events Commission. And if there is community interest, proceed with the development of bylaws to establish the municipal services board, and report back to council on these initiatives by spring 2026. So I could put that on the table as a resolution with a mover. Councillor Van Breda, and seconded by Councillor Costco, and discussion. We'll open the discussion. And for members of the audience who were here, I think some were here for that item. It'll be discussed at the council table. And once we've had our discussion, then I'll open up. And if anybody from the public wishes to speak, we'll ask you to come forward. Council. Anybody speaking here? Sorry, okay, is that your hand up? Sorry, I see something above your head, Councillor Van Breda. Councillor Costco, go ahead.
Now, if we're going to postpone it till 2026, now, aren't there some issues with the seniors center with the roof leaking? Are we going to put a little bit of money into it to keep it so it can keep going if that's the decision that's going to be made? Or what is the plan around that? Just to let it to continue to deteriorate until we make a decision? Like, what is the vision there?
Steph?
To you, Mayor Lawrence. The idea is that with the establishment, if there's interest of the Municipal Services Board, that some of those decisions would then be made. Recommendations would come from the Services Board of Council to inform what those next steps could be. If that commission could be established in 2026, in the spring or early summer, that still provides time for some decisions on those facilities in 2026.
Okay, I'm definitely in favor of that concept of the board and to make the decisions. I definitely agree with that. I really am happy with the staff that you heard what people in Hudson had to say and that you've pivoted. And I like the direction that this is going. But I just want to make sure that we don't, if we're going to postpone, the 2026 is not far. So you're hoping that within 6 months, you'll have that committee up and running, 3 months? Like, what is your sort of timeline on that?
So through you, Mayor Lawrence, if council provides directions this evening to proceed, we'll consult with the residents of Hudson in either February or March. And if there is interest in proceeding, we would then in probably March and April develop the regulatory framework, the bylaws and whatnot to establish the commission, bring that to council, and then simultaneously while we're developing that, we would call for volunteers so that council could then enact the Municipal Services Board, appoint those who wish to serve on it, and hopefully have it operational by May, June.
Okay, that sounds great, Brian.
Could you just clarify the difference between a commission and a committee and a board? I think that would be useful.
Certainly. So a committee is advisory in nature. I'm really bringing this down to a very pragmatic differentiation. Committees are advisory. Commissions have more resources and the ability to make certain decisions within their mandate. It still requires dialogue with council. It involves keeping council informed and reporting to council at least annually, along with the regular stuff that we do with all the committees, monthly minutes or however often they meet and that type of thing.
Okay, thank you. I think Councilor John Brader was next.
Thank you. Right now, I'm just on hotel Wi-Fi and it's going in and out. So if my audio goes in and out, my apologies. First, I just want to thank staff for this report. I do think it was better to have the town hall first and then for the staff report afterwards, so the staff could feel and understands the needs of Hudson. And absolutely, in this report, perhaps a new approach is in order. However, council and the residents of Hudson need clarity on the future of the hall in the Law Civic Center. And it needs to be this council to make the final decision, not to kick the can down the road even more. It's been nearly 3.5 years and we're still having staff reports coming to council, going back to staff, coming back to council, and nothing has been done. I remember a few years ago, Brad Hislop told me, standing still is falling behind. The more we do nothing, the more the Law Civic Center in the hall is going to fall behind. While I am in favor of creating a services board, I'm not really in favor of pausing any plans to apply for funding for and to renovate the Hudson Fire Hall and to provide the recreation in the leisure space, because the pausing of funding opportunities will be a missed opportunity. And as we know, the Law Civic Center is way beyond its purposeful lifespan, and the hall is not far behind. Just today, we got an email from AMO saying that the Ontario government announced a renewed commitment to the Rural Ontario Development Program, which reading the qualifications, there's no doubt that the Hudson Fire Hall will qualify for this. So like, let's strike the pan while it's hot. So yes, I'm in favor of creating the board. However, I'm not in favor of pausing to applying for funding. We have to get on this year. It has to be this council to initiate. We can't kick the can down the road even further. It's been 3.5 years. Let's get something started now. I hope that was clear. I hope my audio didn't go in a.
Your audio was fine, Councillor. Thank you. Councillor Timpson.
Yeah, I think Councillor Van Green makes some good points. Yeah, I support this approach. If we can get onto it right away to just to check whether the residents of Hudson are on board with it. And I also wanted to make one little comment. I noticed that under the Evergreen Cemetery item, a citizens board is suggested, and maybe this commission could even take over that function. It's just something to think about. So I am in favor, but I think Councillor Van Vita has a good point that we should maybe start the applications right now so we don't lose out.
Councillor Legault.
Just in regards to the funding application, do we not have to have some sort of plan of what we're going to build to get funding? We can't just say we're going to get funding and then later on we'll decide what we're going to do with the funding.
Through Mayor Lawrence, yes, Councillor Legault, you're correct. The idea behind pausing the application for funding is so that the commission can look at what the options and opportunities are. I think if council decides to move forward with the demolition of the Lost Lake Center and the renovation of the fire hall, that sort of goes against the point of creating the commission to enable them to be able to make those types of recommendations and informed decisions and so on. It also, we also have to remember economies of scale. If council decides tonight to proceed with the demolition of the Lost Lake Center and the renovation of the fire hall, and not do anything with the Hudson Hall at this time, there's economies of scale. If council ultimately decides to remove both buildings, it's more cost effective to do that both at the same time than several years apart. And with respect to timelines, I think I outlined that we're looking at a less than 6-month window to move this process forward.
So CAO, could you or staff speak to these funding programs that become available? They're not, it might not even be open yet for application, and it would be open for a number of months.
Yes, there are various intakes and timelines. There's various opportunities. The funding that we had been looking at initially to help renovate the fire hall is funding that's tied specifically to renovations. You can't use that funding to build new. So that was the line of thought then. If we're changing that line of thought, then we have to look at the other funding opportunities that are out there.
So the funding can still be pursued, but with more clarity from our side of what we're going after.
Correct.
Based on if the commission gets going and makes decisions.
Yes.
Okay. Did anybody else have a hand up on this one? Councillor Costa.
No, I think it was made very clear at the Hudson meeting that the people of Hudson want that hall, and the two buildings cannot fit into the fire hall renovation. It's not going to be the same thing. If you take down both those buildings and give them the little fire hall renovation, it's not going to replace what they have by any means. So I really think we have to have the commission and the people of Hudson to make the decisions for what they need. And I think that what's happening at that senior center with the volunteers and the work that they're doing in that community is irreplaceable. The work that those community volunteers are doing is fantastic. It's worth money. It's worth it has value, and we have to recognize that. So we have to be conscientious that they're able to offer those services for free to the members of our community. And they need the space that allows them to do that where they want it, where it works for them. So I think that's why I think we need that commission where those people have a voice and a process where they can establish what they need in order to make the programs that they're creating successful.
Councilor Nagel.
Just for development services, is the community hall salvageable? Like, that seems to be the contentious issue is that.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, potentially, I mean, depending on how much money, you know, council would like to put into it. It's definitely in much better shape than the Lost Lake Center. So I think there is kind of consensus on that building of the need for it to come down, but definitely there could be opportunity at the community hall. And it is hard to replace a building like that cost effectively.
We just need to be careful we don't take this discussion where we want the commission to go and come back and inform us after they've consulted with the works with staff and whatever. And then the commission will come back and then we will probably based on, as usual, dollar figures will be one of the deciding factors. But if there's nothing else at the council table, and it seems clear to me that this resolution will pass tonight to form a commission, and then the staff will work with the people of Hudson to form the commission, and hopefully it goes. If it doesn't go, then we're coming back to the council table. But I think council sincere hope that this goes. So are there any members of the public who wish to speak to this issue tonight? And the issue is the formation of a commission, really is what's on the table, not what we're going to do. That's going to be informed by the commission. So anybody wish to speak to it?
I think I'm happy with that. I don't know.
If you do, I'm sorry, I'll have to go, stand up, state your name and go ahead.
Hello, Andrew McCavin, through you, Mayor Lawrence. Just a question, how many people would need to be on this commission? And would they have like a budget, or does everything spending wise go through council after a decision is proposed?
I'm gonna let the CAO speak to you, but the answer to your question, actually, CAO, go ahead.
Through Mayor Lawrence, yes, so the commission would have a budget and a mandate to work within. We're suggesting at this point that mandate include recreation programming, community events and leisure activities. But ultimately that mandate will also be informed through consultation and ultimately council's decision.
In budget?
Budget, yes. The commission would need a budget to be able to deliver programs or arrange for programming and so on and so forth. So
just a question, now, staff will meet with people, whoever comes out, and let's say there'll be feedback, and that may inform. I'm guessing if it were me, sorry, I would go with, here's something on the table for you to chew on, spit at, or say, that's wonderful, whatever it is. Modified, and that might be modified and come back. Would it come to the council table to the formation of the commission?
the formation, certainly, Mayor Lawrence, yes, the formation of the commission has to be a council decision and the appointment of its members. In terms of number of members, I think that part of that we will assess during those consultations. I think we don't want to create a commission that's, say, 13 if there's only 7 who are interested. I think that will be important, is gauging the level of interest in the community when we consult.
And would there be, I know who shows up, speaks up and runs things, but is there will there be an application process?
Oh, yes, we would follow the normal application process for any board, committee or commission where people would submit their application.
It can't just go to people, there would be an applicant, and maybe it's the same people who. Sure it is, that's the way it is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so again, I'll go back to the public.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, CIO, can I just call a vote on what's on the table then? We had a mover and a seconder.
Yes, councillors,
Breda.
Breda and, Koskov.
So I'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And the members of the public are welcome to stay for the other exciting events here, but I can pause for a moment if you'd like to leave.
Is there going to be something about the cemetery?
The cemetery, you're right. Yep, absolutely. We put that at the end to keep you here, I think. Launch recap. The council receives the Recreation and Culture Manager's report dated January 21st, 2026 regarding boat launch maintenance, repairs, and soft launch of the OPS com permitting system. Moved by Councilor Nagle, seconded by Councilor Costco. I believe it was Councilor Nagle. Go ahead.
Just if staff can go over the work that was done in 2025, just so the public is aware of all the great work that was done. And if any, on what work is to be done in 2026, if you have that, and then just maybe go over the financials, expenditures and revenues.
For you, Mayor Lawrence. So in 2025, once the ice and snow melted, we discovered that some of our billets at Boat Bay in Hudson required replacing. So that was pretty extensive work that was done. And the billets cost approximately, there was about 17 that needed replaced, and they were about $5,000 to do that. There was some hardware that was rusted, and removal of decking and lifting of the dock frame to complete, which we managed to do before opener weekend. Botham's Bay, we had a dock axle repair that was also a surprise in the springtime. It's not working. Hello. Thank you. So yeah, Botham's Bay, we did some axle repair there, and that was contracted out. And that was about $1,049. At West Point Cove, we installed the new dock that was purchased in 2024. We just needed to build a bracket to attach the dock. And then some other summer maintenance that was completed. We did actually get signs all made and ready to go. They just need to be installed in 2026. We removed at Boat Bay again in Hudson. We expanded the actual launch, and we replaced concrete pads and installed 60 new pads. And then added some blue stone to the ramp, completed some ditching and like I said, widened the ramp. We installed the new dock at West Point Cove, added aggregate to ramp areas at 5 Mile and Superior, completed ongoing road grading as per the tier system, and some minor repairs at other docks, and replaced a few of the solar lights that got damaged over the winter. And we, as everyone knows, we removed the old pavilion at Boat Bay due to safety concerns. As far as plans for 2026, so we are looking at installing the new signage at all 9 launches. We've got an RFQ out for building the new pavilion at Boat Bay. We have purchased and will be installing a new dock at Sturgeon River Launch, and pending M&R approvals, we'll be doing some work at 5 Mile, Bothams, and Sturgeon at the ramps. And that will include replacing some of those pads as well. And then just some regular maintenance at the launches as per usual. And we're looking at some more improvements with the OPSCOM program as well. And then other expenditures. So the pads were about almost $27,000. Hauling of the pads was about $4,850. And then the ramp work at Boat Bay was just over 19,000. And then other supplies and materials were around $2,000.
Councilor Nagle, go ahead.
And there was a surplus.
Yes. We don't have that in there, but.
Yeah, we're predicting there'll be a surplus. We're just waiting for the rest. There's no additional small invoices that are coming in for supplies, but yes, there'd be surplus, and like council has directed staff, that surplus will automatically go into the boat launch reserve, which will also be topped up through the mat tax, so that we're putting in $25,000 into the reserve every year.
Thank you. Good. Councillor Van Breda.
Thank you. I make this short and sweet. I'm a no on this just because both council and staff know my opinion on boat launch fees. We are reiterate that we're the only community in Northwestern Ontario that has boat launch fees, and we're the only community to have fees for non-residents. Again, I will not vote in favor of boat launch fees. So with that being said, my apologies, but I cannot vote in favor of this. Thank you.
What are we accepting tonight? This is a,
This is a summary of the 2025 activities at boat launches, revenues, expenditures, and a preview of what's to come in 2026. The fees associated were approved by council as part of the fees and charges bylaw that was adopted last year.
yeah, so there is no vote to be clear on fees tonight. That's not what this is. This is a review of last year. Councillor Cassidy.
Thank you. I just want to commend staff, I think, for the political hot potato that boat launches have been since 2018. I think this is probably the best year of just seeing the work that's done, seeing where the money that people pay for their passes is going, how it's being spent. I do appreciate that the wages and benefits aspect has been pulled out, and I think that's allowed a lot more money to go back into the boat launches and the work there. So kudos to staff on that. And I think the program has worked because now there's $60,000 in expenditures that doesn't come from the general taxpayers of this community. So kudos. Thank you.
Anything further, Councillor Costello?
I'm with Councillor Cassidy. I think that we're in the right direction with the boat launches. We're doing the work. They're looking good. We've got lots of money in reserves to continue to do the work. So I think the processes that we have set up are working and we're seeing the results. And I think staff have done a great job.
Anything further, Councillor? I just have one question on the OPSCOM. It's not really, there was quite a bit of consternation surrounding that. It seems though that it's going quite well.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of, the beginning was a bit of a new challenge for everyone. And as the summer went, it got easier and easier. So
Being accepted by users.
yep, like I said, at the beginning, there was some resistance, but now it seems to be everyone's gotten used to how to put the information in the system. So
Great. Very well done. Thank you.
The rollout was as intended. It was a learning process for all of us, and we have learned some valuable lessons that we will implement into the procedures going forward.
Great. Thank you. So then I will call the vote on item 7.4, the boat launch recap. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.5, 2026 estimates budget for the Sioux OPP Detachment Board. That the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux approves the 2026 estimates budget for the Sioux OPP Detachment Board as presented at the January 21st, 2026 Sioux Council meeting. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Antrikanov. And discussion, I think, Councillor Costco, you lifted it?
Yes. Just a couple of things. The wages seem quite high to me. So it's 32 hours a month of wages. And just, I don't know who the person that works is. It's no reflection of them. It's just, this is just a procedural thing. So it's down here that it's 32 hours a month. So this is a quarter of a job, like 25% of someone's job is solely the OPP board. That seems like a lot to me. This is a huge increase in the budget, almost $20,000 from previous years. It's actually
this year?
$30,000, $30,000. The other thing that I found was the legal. We put $2,500 in there just in case. We've never used any legal. That seems like a lot in a year that we're increasing so much. So those two items in the budget seem large to me, very large. So I just,
Council will be aware that this is, the police detachment board is something new that was brought upon us by the changes in the Community Safety and Policing Act. They changed the rules around the formation and composition of police boards, their responsibility, accountability. And it's increased this year, Councilor Cosgrove, because this is the first year of true, we're implementing it as we must. So that's why it looks so different from before. It is new. The province has dictated that things be done this way. CIO, did you want to comment?
Team Mayor Lawrence, yes, just 2 points. One, that up until this point, the last couple of years, all of these staff costs have been borne entirely by the municipality of Sioux because it's our staff that provide the support. By reflecting those actual costs in the budget, those costs will now be shared equally between Sioux and Pickle Lake, so that Sioux isn't carrying all of the administrative costs of the board. That's primarily the intent. And so essentially what will happen is that those wages that were in the municipal budget previously will now appear in the department board budget and a detachment board budget, and will and therefore Sioux will pay 50%. So it's actually resulting in a savings for the municipality overall. With respect to that, the fact is these are the costs. We've come up with a formula. There is no one person. There's about 3 to 4 municipal staff that are involved in supporting the administrative work of the detachment board. We've used a number to reflect aspects of all of their jobs and all of their rates of pay, and coming up with the rate that we did. So that was the rationale behind that. I hope that is some help.
And this is the first, as this board is evolving, this is the first year. It's been, I guess we've been operating as this particular form of detachment board for 3 years now or so, 2 years. 2 years, yeah. And it continues to evolve, and this evolution, as the CAO said, allows us to more fairly share the costs with Pickle Lake, who we have a joint detachment with. To be fair to Pickle Lake, they didn't have the capacity to get this detachment up and running, and we put a lot of work in. But now that it's up and running, the costs will be split, and the costs were there anyway. It's sort of their existing staff that are doing this work.
so I just have a follow-up question. So that staffing cost of $18,000, it will shift from the municipal budget into this budget, right? So it will be reduced in the municipal budget by 18,000 because it's been shifted over here. Is that correct?
That's right. That's correct. And also that council will still pay 9 of that 18,000 through when it is when the board invoices the municipality on a quarterly basis. So the other thing to keep in mind with respect to the legal costs is because the board invoices the 2 municipalities quarterly, it's only actual costs incurred. So if there are no legal costs incurred, then there will be no transfer from the respective municipalities to the board to pay for those costs. So it's only if those costs are incurred. So it's not like the municipalities upfront this money to the board at the beginning of the year. Rather, they're invoiced quarterly on a cost recovery basis.
Very good. Anything further, council? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.6. These are the resolutions to be submitted for consideration at the KDMA conference in February. So I'll just read the resolution. Or I think I'll wait until we've decided which. Is that fair? Read it. Okay, I see that clerk's consternation. I don't know what to say though.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Lawrence. Sure, if council prefers to discuss the motion first and then decide on the wording of the motion afterwards, we can accommodate that indeed.
There may be none.
Exactly.
So everybody's seen the KDMA resolutions. Councillor Timpson, you are KDMA rep. Do you wish to speak to any of these?
No, they're all issues that KDMA has talked about. And I think they're all valid for presentation.
And we've seen some of them before. I think we've talked about them. Is anybody else on council after reviewing are we good with supporting the resolutions that are in our reports?
Yeah.
I see yes. So
Annual
Councillor Timpson,
meeting.
it looks like they'll be supported, Councillor Timpson, so I'll just call the vote then. I'll give the resolution and call the vote. You're good, Councillor Timpson?
Yeah.
Okay. The council directs staff to submit resolutions as determined by council at the January 21st, 2026 regular council meeting for consideration at the 2026 Kenora District Municipal Association annual meeting. And the wording to complete this now.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence. So we will just adjust that slightly to say that council directs staff to submit all resolutions presented at the January 2026 meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Timpson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
I just want to encourage other members to sign up for this meeting too. I think it's an excellent opportunity to see what's going on in the whole region, not just the whole region, but the whole province. February 19th to 21st, I think it is.
Is that a paid promotion or? Thanks,
No,
Councillor
no,
Timpson.
just throwing it in.
Yeah, no,
Out of
very good.
order, I know.
No, very good, thanks. Municipal assumption of Evergreen Cemetery, Hudson. The council respecting Evergreen Cemetery in Hudson receives the CIO and municipal clerk's report dated January 21st, 2026 regarding the transfer to an assumption by the municipality of Sioux of the Evergreen Cemetery, and authorizes and directs staff to complete the legal and regulatory processes to assume the Evergreen Cemetery, including the transfer of lands, the transfer of the existing care and maintenance trust funds, the transfer of all records and documentation related to the cemetery, the transfer of the Bereavement Authority of Ontario's licensure, the development of bylaws, policies, and tariff of rates as required, and budget allocations, and accepts the donation of a new sign for Evergreen Cemetery as offered by Mr. Todd Goodall, and authorizes and directs staff to complete the necessary paperwork to arrange for the acceptance of the sign. And further, that council awards the contract of Evergreen Cemetery interment and maintenance services to the Cedars Group for up to 3 years, and directs staff to negotiate and execute an agreement for these services based on summer maintenance fee of $3,300 per month for 6 months plus HST, and summer internment services fee of $1,135 per internment plus HST, and winter internment services fee of $1,395 per internment plus HST. Moved by Councillor Dago, seconded by Councillor Van Breda. And I'm not sure, I don't remember who lifted this, but staff, do you want to start with the discussion? Councillor Pasco.
I lifted it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
My concern is the amount of money for the maintenance per month. Is this not, how big is this graveyard? Is it like an acre of land?
Yeah,
Like,
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, this is approximately 50% of what we spent in 2025. per month.
really?
Mhm.
Well, the only thing I was concerned about is if we do the commission in Hudson, do they not want to maybe look after the maintenance? Maybe like this could be a source of revenue for them and they might be able to do it at a different cost. So like, I'm not sure whether we're going ahead too early on this or should we wait for the commission? Like everything else but the awarding of the contract, I'm in agreement with. But I
Yeah.
think that we might want to wait for the commission.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, the Bereavement Authority of Ontario has been very clear that it must be the municipality itself that operates the cemetery. So the commission won't be able to operate the cemetery, and that's why one of the reasons I brought this as two separate reports, but also the municipality can't divest its responsibility for the maintenance of that cemetery even to a commission. So this, we went to tender, well, we asked for quotes, and this was the best quote that we received.
You
Councillor
just
Layton.
said that our staff, that when we were doing it with our own staff, we paid double this?
No, we had a different contractor last season.
So we have no
It's gone.
capacity within our own staff in Hudson to do this?
No, we do not.
Councillor Lego.
Just in terms for costs of interment for summer and winter, is that similar to what's in Sioux?
Yes, they are, one of them is within $75 of the cost of Sioux Lookout, and the other one is approximately $150 of the cost of Sioux Lookout, so very similar.
Council, anything for Councillor Van Breda?
So if this is passed tonight, when can the town start to sell the plots of land again?
That will depend on a number of factors. The first one being how quickly the courts deem the property to belong to the municipality. Right now, the land is in legal limbo. We are preparing a motion to go before the Superior Court of Justice to have the lands deeded essentially to the municipality. That is the only piece of the process that is beyond our control. That will depend on the court's timelines. But that is the sort of the clincher in the whole thing. We can't sell land that we don't own. So it will depend on how quickly we can get this before Superior Justice.
Council, anything further? Just, I'll go to the public and see if anybody has anything to say. Just as an aside, I was at the Roma conference, as was the CAO and Councillor Timpson just back today, I guess. And 2 days ago, I went to one of the presentations was entitled "The Dirt on Cemeteries." Very interesting, but one of the three panelists at the top was from Napanee down near the Quebec border. And with amalgamation that Napanee had, as the same time we did, they have Napanee, a very small community, 40 cemeteries within their boundaries. It's incredible to me to think that they would have that many. And they've just recently uncovered one because of a highway expansion that involved, it was an unmarked cemetery that's 300 years old, early settlers. So our troubles seem vast, but I think they pale in comparison to some other places. Public. Anybody in the public wish to speak to this?
I just would say that I don't think that we're in favor of doing our own maintenance in Hudson. And the Cedar Group is really well respected in our town. So I think that if they're willing to do it, that would be a great option.
They've given a price that says they'll do it for this much money, so they're willing to do it. If there's nothing else, I will call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.8. That council authorizes first and second readings of bylaw number 01-26, being a bylaw to regulate traffic and parking within the municipality of Sioux Lookout. And further, the council directs that bylaw number 01-26 be made available for public review and comment through February 20th, 2026. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Lego. CAO, did you want to have some introductory comments on this? Just
Certainly, through Mayor Lawrence. So just very briefly, we are pleased to bring forward an updated traffic and parking control bylaw. Staff, a committee of staff involving a variety of departments, public works, fire, violent enforcement, and others have been reviewing, meeting, consulting, attending training, and so on this over the last almost year. So we're pleased to bring forward a bylaw for council's consideration. Obviously, when you're consolidating many years of prior bylaws and you're trying to make good decisions for planning for the future as well, there are some changes, there are some nuances, traffic regulation, leading practices, advice from insurers, certainly changes over the years. So all of that is reflected in this. I think it's important to note that we're trying to find this balance between providing sufficient time for consultation and input, but also recognizing that governments are often criticized for being slow. So we had initially said February 4th for the deadline for comments. We've extended that to February 20th. We feel a month is sufficient. It's a bit of a balancing act in that respect. It's also important to note that in addition to members of the public being invited to provide comment between now and the 4th, if council approves, or gives first and second reading, pardon me, that we would also be looking for, additional comment from council. We know that it was a fairly substantial document that you received last Friday evening, and you may also need some more time to look at it. So that we would invite your comments as well during that period.
So just before I go to, in terms of process, this will be advertised and I think you're contacting some
Yeah.
groups that are affected directly.
Thank you, Mayor Lawrence, and through you. Yes, absolutely. So we'll be advertising the fact that we're looking for comments. There will be a dedicated page on the website with all of the information. There will also be hard copies of the packages and specific agencies, businesses, organizations who may be directly impacted by some potential changes. We are writing to them directly and inviting their comment and highlighting what those changes will be.
And when we meet again, either at the next council meeting, probably the one thereafter,
Yes.
You will have those comments compiled and council will see them.
Yes, through you, Mayor Lawrence, we will compile all the feedback and we will also provide commentary on that.
And then council, think about and it says first and second reading tonight. This isn't a council decision to adopt this parking bylaw.
No.
It's to get it out there for public comment. And I think what you're inviting is, and I would suggest if council has comments on, review them and get them to staff over the course of the same period so that can be done. And then council will have to consider not only their own thoughts, but those of the public and by February the 20th. And it might take another meeting or two to get to a third and final reading, right? Okay, so with that said, Council Cass.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Lawrence. My only comment that I had was just going through the package and was going to ask if there was a mapping or any software, and then come in and this is on my desk. So I think this is great. I think this should be the focus for helping to engage the public on it. Simplifies a lot of that that was in the document. So thank you for providing that, and hopefully this is helpful for everyone. So
you're happy to make sure the map is included in the.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Good. Councilor Timpson.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't catch everything you were saying. It's a bit muffled here, but anyway, my only comment was I think that there will be some, and I'm concerned too about deleting any accessible parking spots, even though the businesses are no longer there. There will be reasons for people with accessibility issues to park in those particular spots. And, even if they had to walk a few more blocks, if that could reduce them from having to, or not a few more blocks, a few more yards, that could reduce them from having to park, a couple of blocks away from the issue. So that, that I think should be looked at, as well as the seniors parking on that hill, and maybe reduce it to, and that's just not clear. It said remove parking spaces on the east side of Fifth. There's not enough room for 6 spaces. How many spaces are there now?
So Councilor Timpson, I'm going to suggest Councilor Timpson, I hope you can hear. I'm going to suggest we don't get into that detailed discussion tonight, that make those comments, provide them in writing to staff, and that's for the discussion at the next time we meet on this. Thank you.
Okay, okay, well, that particular part is confusing, other 5 or 6, and what are we asking for? So that might be something just before it goes out to the public to look at.
Anything
That's all.
further, council? Thank you. Anything further, council? Seeing nothing, I will call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And that concludes the items requiring separate discussion. No delegations, so are we into bylaws? But the bylaw is with respect, one bylaw with respect to that last item. Bylaw number. I'll just pause for a moment. Yep.
Thank you.
Bylaw number 01-26 being a bylaw to regulate traffic and parking within the municipality of Sioux. That bylaw number 01-26 be read a first and second time. Sorry, moved by Councillor Timpson, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Notice of motions to, we don't, none tonight. No, the KDMA one has been dealt with. That's, yeah, okay. So we have an outside resolution. How are you feeling, CAO? Perfect. Carry on, please.
Through Mayor Lawrence, outside resolution circulated by the Association of Municipalities of Ontario regarding potential proposed changes to the Ontario Municipal Employees Retirement System. It reads as follows. Whereas the Ontario Municipal Employees Retirement System, OMERS, pension fund serves over 1,000 employers and over 500,000 employees and retirees from diverse groups, including municipal governments, school boards, libraries, police and fire departments, children aid societies, and electricity distribution companies. And whereas the long-standing jointly sponsored governance model with 2 corporate boards has provided stability, accountability, and fairness for both plan members and employers for more than 2 decades. And whereas the government of Ontario has passed legislative changes to OMERS governance structure through Bill 68, and whereas these changes would replace the current OMERS Sponsors Corporation with a new Sponsors Council that would lose its corporate status and independent resources, and whereas the proposed model could allow pension decisions affecting municipal employers and employees to be made without meaningful municipal oversight, including financial risk for municipalities and local taxpayers. And whereas municipalities are already under significant financial strain and cannot absorb additional pension costs without consequences for property taxes or local services. Therefore, be it resolved that the municipality of Sioux does not support the legislative changes to the OMERS Act contained in Bill 68 and requests that the government of Ontario reconsider the advisability of proceeding with these changes. And be it further resolved that the Council of the Municipality of Sioux supports the Association of Municipalities of Ontario in calling on the government of Ontario to maintain the current OMERS governance model with 2 corporate boards as the structure that would best deliver on the long-term interests of municipalities, taxpayers, and employees. Be it further resolved that this resolution be circulated to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario.
Thank you. And I do this in the usual way. I move by. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Cassidy, and we'll have discussion. Any discussion? Councillor Lego.
No, I accept the resolution. It's just that we never received it.
Oh, it like
Yeah, on 12-1, like there's no report or anything.
well, unfortunately, we just got the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no background.
Okay, I was wondering why there was.
I can provide some insights if you like, but I can choose not to. I can. No.
Actually, it's interesting. I was at Roma, and I think it was on Monday. There was in the plenary hall with 2,000 people there. There was a 45-minute panel discussion on this very item, chaired by former chair of Roma, Lynn
Dylan. Dylan, I believe.
Yeah, not quite right either, but
But
and it was very interesting and typically AMO does great research, great work, and again, they've done it here. This has all happened very quickly is one of the things that there was a report done, and the day after the report was issued to the government, they put out the change. And many people are saying, slow down, we need to consider a few things. So it's just to slow down and consider things is what we're doing, and I would be fully supportive based on what I heard at AMO. At Roma, excuse me. Councillor Timpson, I'm not sure if you were at that,
Yeah, I was at that. I honestly didn't even have any idea what the issue was about, but that's my overall impression is slow down on it and talk some more about it.
I think it came down very, very quickly
Yeah.
from high, let's say. Anything else on this item? So I will call the vote. All in favor of supporting this? Carried. Thank you. Councillor reports. Where shall I start? I can't start on the other side of the table, but I'll start on the other, at the screen. There you go. Councillor Timpson.
Yeah, I guess the highlight of this month for me was the Roma conference that we were referring to, and very, very interesting speakers from all the parties, including the premier, and we had very interesting discussion from Chantal Hibert, who's a respected journalist from Quebec, and three very, I think, successful delegations, one to the Associate Minister of Mental Health, one to the Minister of Long-Term Care, one to the Solicitor General, and also a discussion with the President of the Ontario Medical Association. And they all want to come up to Sioux Lookout, so we might be entertaining people from all summer. So we'll be looking for people to take them fishing, Corey.
Well,
I have found that the best way to get people to know about Sioux Lookout is that they have to come up here and see it, and even take them up north if we can. So
very good.
that's it.
Thanks,
Oh,
Councillor.
and
Yes.
Environment Committee meeting virtual in January. So
Thank you. Councillor Costco.
I attended the staff Christmas party in December before the holidays, which thanks for staff for putting that together. It was very enjoyable. I also attended virtually the TRC meeting yesterday, and we're planning to do a TRC gala on April 25th. So I think the community will start hearing about that soon. We're just getting it pulled together, and we're going to start doing some press releases and stuff on it. So keep your ears to the ground, and it's April 25th. So council should mark that on their calendar. And I've been on vacation, so returning at the end of the week.
Thank you. Councillor Van Breda.
Thank you. Apologies, I can't be there tonight. I'm at the Health Directors Conference here in Thunder Bay. Attended the staff Christmas party with Councillor Costco, and then had a environmental committee earlier this month, and that's my month.
Thank you. Councillor Cassidy.
Yeah, for myself, I had Hydro Board and Pace back in December. Unfortunately, I had to miss the December meeting because I was also on vacation. And then, yeah, Hydro Board at the end of the month, we had to push it back a bit, but other than that, just had good holidays and glad to be back in the home stretch for this term.
Thank you. Councillor Latham.
Yeah, we had one meeting set up for LCC, but that was canceled with no agenda, so had no meetings.
She can have.
TRC meeting just this past week, and we're excited about the gala, and there's lots of planning, and we're gonna need a lot of volunteers in the future. So if anybody wants to come and help, we'd appreciate that. Or if you know somebody who would come and volunteer, that would be nice. What else? The police services detachment board, we had a meeting back in, I can't remember the date. Was it December, beginning? Yeah, something like that. Before Christmas break anyway. And that went well there. Things are going well there. What else? Oh, the police. The doctors welcoming with Joyce Simpson. We're still doing that out of the Northern Clinic, and I was there this past Monday. So sometimes I'm there with Joyce, or sometimes I just go alone and do the PowerPoint presentation and everything. Yeah. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. This month have had the usual KDSB and Northwestern Health Unit meetings. And the Alzheimer's flag raising for Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And then it was really Roma and working with a joy to work with staff preparing for Roma, and staff really did most of the work. So thank you to staff, both our EA and our CEO for that. And it was great to be at Roma, and Councillor Timpson has highlighted the municipal delegations we attended. I also attended, I think, three or four with KDSB, and with public health, I participated on a panel on public health matters. Which was a pleasure, and Roma was interesting as always. And pleasure to be there with Councillor Timpson and the CAO. So it was well represented, and as Councillor Timpson said, it's amazing how many people you bump into who have been to Silicote. When we met with the president of the Ontario Medical Association, she said her father had come here as a doctor probably 30 years ago, and she fully intends to come up here and visit. So he spent some time here probably as a locum, as a visiting doctor or whatever. So, but always running into people, especially in the healthcare field, that have been to Silicote. That was my month, and thank you. We have confirmatory bylaw number 02-26, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the municipality of Silicote, January 21st, 2026, regular council meeting, be read a first, second, and third time and passed. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by. Okay, we'll stay all night. That's good. Councillor Lego, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.
Right.
Good night, everyone.
All right.